I think I got it. I didn't set my cameras. Hang on. Good. I think we're good. We made it. We're alive. Somehow. Set this and set that. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Eating Lunchables while waiting to tell you my plan. Your plan. Warhammer store opens at 11. Only 3 red terror boxes. Alright, let me update the live real quick. I ended up having to tank my bitrate. I think it was something my my NVIDIA driver updated the other day, and that might have had something to do with it. So, 1 second while I send this to the Discord. What was that, like 6 attempts later? I did not accuse you of being the problem. I simply asked if you were the problem. Get there at 6 a.m. Sit with chair. Dude, I don't know what happened, but you got me on the Tyranid kick. And so I've been doing a ton of my homebrew conflict between my Dark Angel successor and Tyranids. And so I don't know if you saw my reel this morning, but Psychophage is ready. And the Prime is ready. Sorry, the Winged Prime. I'm going to get those primed relatively quickly. And painted, while also contributing to my Dark Angel successor, which is what I'm doing this evening. Because that is where my head is at as far as that conflict goes. I'm so relieved right now. I can't believe I fixed that. They are fun to paint, and they're really easy. Like, compared to Space Marines, because Space Marines, you've got all these little nooks and crannies, and everything is a different color. With the Tyranids, with my Tyranids anyway, they're like 3 basic colors. With a little bit of stuff here and there, but yeah, I'm stoked. This dude's gonna be a blast. But I'm going to work my way through this Assault Intercessor squad this evening. That's the Sergeant. Sponge makes your nids look great. I haven't sponged anything. I've been doing a lot of dry brushing. I may sponge the Psychophage. There's too many nooks for the prime to make sponging effective. Like under the wings especially. I probably should have sub-assembled, but it's whatever. Emissary looks better than box art. I'll lose a fist fight against a male. A wish kid. I have seen your emissary. It looks sick. Alright, so I'm going to do all the bodies and then switch. Make a wish. I got what you meant. I mean, for some people, it'd definitely be male, a wish. TikTok is weird and cool. Started posting 12 days ago and have 200 followers. Yeah, TikTok is weird. So I've been posting there for 3 or 4 months now. I just broke 400 followers. And I only post like once a week. If that. I'm not hating on it. I mean, TikTok itself is kind of weird, but as far as the traction you can get with it, it's kind of great. Bunch of drafts ready one night and post once daily, get traction. I heard that if you draft stuff, maybe it was just for scheduling, because I know for some reason scheduling posts really tanks you in the algorithm, and I don't know why. But yeah, if you put drafts in, you'll be set. That's usually what I do. I put a draft in like the night before I want to post it, and then first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is post it right away. Weird people over there can confirm. TikTok aside, I got a Karn. I saw that. That's kind of that's ambitious. What do you know about Karn? Like the dude. Besides the fact that he's an angry boy. Because that's like one of his defining traits. Spruce sucks. Stands up after death. This is true. On a 2-up roll. Well, and that's lore accurate too. Because he is the champion of Khorne. How's the stream quality? Because I had to drop it down like 2,000. Because I was running at 6,000. So I dropped it down to 4. It should still be at 1080. I can't read. Oh yeah, you're not a lore guy. You could be. I could educate you. Okay. Learning that this is wrong leg. Nope. Right. A weird angle. Explain the lore reasons why the Red Terror pisses me off. For the law reasons why I want to Exterminatus GW for making it not super abundant. I don't have an answer for that. Well, I might. Is the Red Terror an OC? Or is it just a character unit? That was 7, 8, 9, 10. Once I get the legs to the bodies, all of the arms and heads are pretty interchangeable. And I can put all the fancy decorative bits. OC, like a named character. Because if it's a named character, then there can be only one in the galaxy. But if it's just a generic character, then you can make them your own. And there can be multiple. Like unnamed Space Marine Captain. I don't have any unnamed Space Marine Captains. They all have names. That's because they all have places in my armies. A named character can only have one. The NID though, so it breaks that rule. Old One Eye. Well, an Old One Eye was the first thing that came to mind because technically there's only one Old One Eye, but he keeps coming back in random places. for undisclosed reasons. The hive mind will reproduce when facing certain threats that it requires. This is true. So then we can get into theory crafting about Old One Eye. Because is Old One Eye something that has ingrained itself into the gene code of all of the Tyranids throughout the galaxy? Which is why it keeps showing up in different battlefields? Also, is it strictly Hive Fleet Leviathan, or is it in like Behemoth or Jormungandr? These are the questions that I have from a lore standpoint. Genetic profile, that's why he shows up at Behemoth colors. Sorry, I almost said Behemoth, which would have been very Britain of me. British intensifies. And that makes sense. But for it to be that specific that it has... Would that be a deformity? Or is it actually a battle scar that hit it so hard that it went back to the hive mind and they were like, all right, this is how he is now? When I gather, the hive mind stores genetic profiles and adds them as a need explanation for why the new models are different. That's why you get things like hyper adapted Raveners and Death Leapers. Yeah, I've heard theories that like warriors were adapted to specifically combat Space Marines because they took the Space Marine genome, added it to their gene line, and that was kind of the plot behind the devastation of Baal was that Leviathan had set its sights on the Blood Angels because it wanted the Blood Angels gene seed. Because they wanted, I don't know if it wanted the Black Rage or the Red Thirst or something that would enhance them in that way, in a way that the Blood Angels had specifically. And that's why the Blood Angels and all of their successors almost got completely wiped. The lore's cool until they're in a book. They're constantly almost being cool. Yeah, they were kind of just a nuisance in Devastation of Baal. And, the book. It wasn't Darkness in the Blood, what was it? Yeah, it was Darkness in the Blood, which is like what the Blood Angels were doing directly after Baal. And they were trying to stop a Gene Stealer strain from exiting Baal. Because if it exited Baal, then it would be able to continue. Yeah, but Tyranid in books, very hit or miss, especially when you get Gene Stealers involved. Because like the book I'm listening to right now, it's a Death Watch book, but it's also a Tau book, but also a Gene Stealer book. And it's a lot. Because there's like an Inquisitor that has allied herself with the Tau and is experimenting with Gene Stealers that are Tau Gene Stealers. It's weird. And that never makes sense to me because Gene Stealers can be made up with a little bit of biomass in an afternoon and they can shred a Space Marine with their claws. Space Marines take much more time to craft into a warrior. This is true. And that's why the Tyranids are such a substantial threat for the galaxy. Because they can generate like nobody's business. But for the Greater Imperium, not necessarily for specific planets, but for the Greater Imperium, they know when they're coming because of the presence of the Shadow and the Warp. And they've had enough experience with Tyranids as a whole that they know what the Shadow and the Warp is, as terrifying as it is. Like, they're aware. Yeah, and the only reason the Blood Angels didn't get wiped out at the Devastation of Baal was because Gilliman came and saved the day. And wiped out everything. Because he brought all of the Blood Angels chapters their Primaris reinforcements. At that point. And that's when a lot of the Primaris Blood Angels were distributed amongst the Blood Angels chapters. Including my own. In my canon. You get boiled down to a nuisance. It's bad writing. Yeah, that's probably the reason that I'm not really a Gene Stealers fan. But also, I'm not really a Gene Stealers fan because Gene Stealers are so fluid, I guess, if that's the right word, because they can infect anyone and everything. And all of the Gene Stealer models, except for like well, the later generations of Gene Stealers, the earlier generations of Gene Stealers are very specific. So like, forget the name of it, the truck, the mining rig, and all that. Like that's very specific to very specific situations. Instead of making other things Gene Stealers. Like this book, it describes the absolute possibility of Tau becoming Gene Stealers because they are successfully, intentionally turning Gene Stealers or turning Tau into Gene Stealers because of Ordo Xenos stuff. But I digress. Like, give us Tau Gene Stealers, because why not? And for these reasons, World Eater time. Turn charge. Yeah, the World Eaters simplify everything. Just run in and hit stuff. Be angry, hit stuff. Precisely. They got it figured out. Now, I commit a bit of sacrilege with my World Eaters over there. Because only some of them are fully with Khorne. The majority of the Warband is with Khorne, but they got infected by Nurgle because of a sorcerer who was a psyker, a librarian from the Horus Heresy, who disappeared during the Horus Heresy and fell to Nurgle instead of Khorne. And so he came back to the World Eaters, and my particular World Eaters, he infected them. Well, mostly he infected them, but he persuaded them through Nurgle means, Nurgle's rot and bone spores and all that, to follow Nurgle too. And so some of the Warband have fully fallen to Nurgle, and then some of them are still trying to hold on to Khorne and the Rage. And so, like, my plan with the Sorcerer, I haven't painted him yet. I just primed him not that long ago. But he's going to have the old white and blue World Eater's armor. You're kind of dude. Yeah, so he was a psyker before the Council of Nicaea. And all that. And he disappeared before the psykers could be eradicated. Before Angron was even found. Did I totally miss that leg? I did. Oops. So you're going to roll some dice. When you get the Psychophage finish, you have a Captain in Terminator armor. I don't have a Captain in Terminator. I have a Captain in Gravis, which is the captain for my Reliquary Brotherhood 5th Company. But yes, I would like to roll some dice, honestly. It might have to be a solitaire game, though. Unless somehow I can get Raincloud to play with me. Because we still have to play the 1,000-point game that I promised everyone back at 200 subs. Which was in, like, November. But yeah, the Gravis captain. Learning to play TTS, I really need to dive into it. But I've tried it before, and I was making my Blood Angel successor, the Angels of Sorrow, and they didn't have Stern Guards in a Blood Angel list, so I didn't. So here's my captain and Gravis. Donkey. A little oversaturated. He's not actually that bright. And here's 2 of the aggressors. We're working on the 3rd. The 3rd is right here, undercoated right now. He's going to be next to be painted. Yeah, they're going to tear through all my Termagants, I know that. I'll learn, then I'll go see now if you have the Stern Guard. They may have updated it, I don't know. It was a while ago. It was probably a couple years at least. You had the Captain and Terminator armor, and you the scenario thing. What faction? Those were Blood Angels. I could make the 1st company captain if I did have a captain in Termi. Because I have been putting some 1st company units. Well, I have the Firstborn Vanguard that's over there. In my writing, I'm working on writing a little sequence right now of these guys, my Reliquary Brotherhood, dropping on a hive world that is in the cluster that is being assaulted by my Tyranids, and I'm trying to figure out an effective way to write the Tyranids well. Because I want to do them justice. I don't want them just to be a mindless horde. But I'm not sure how to do that. I'm trying to get inspiration from various Tyranid writings, like official Tyranid writings. But I'm not really having any luck. Because pretty much everything that I've read so far has been either Gene Stealers or Devastation of Baal, where they're just a mindless horde and inevitable death for everyone. They have Blood Angels Stern Guard? Maybe they updated it. Yeah, I did re-download it recently because I got asked to be part of a Crusade game that was going to be played entirely on TTS, but I don't really have the time to dedicate to that. Oh yeah, they did add them. Cool. Paint scheme isn't exactly... Sorry, that's the lore nut in me. The paint scheme is wrong, but... Not First Company Blood Angels. First Company Blood Angels have silver or gold helmets. Check general. I'll have to do that. I haven't reinstalled all the Warhammer stuff that you need. I don't even remember what you have to get. I'm not familiar with TTS at all. Last one together, and then we'll start doing heads and arms. But alright, I've been super anal about mold lines since Mal started making fun of me. You'll learn how to play TTS. I already have your wife's World Eaters and a 2K list for your Tyranids. We should arrange that. I would take an evening and learn sometime. If I can get an evening, that is. Won't be this weekend. This weekend's already all taken up. Alright, let's figure out stuff and things. They all have to have chainswords. They all have to have heavy bolt pistols. Two options to have holster chainswords. Sorry, sheathed words. I'll figure it out and report back. Can't be this weekend. I have to do Red Terror stuff. Valid. That is a valid reason. One with a knife and one with nades? Yes, please. Also one reloading. I kind of like that too. Nade arm. I like you, face, but Mal will be in danger if you take Red Terror time from me. I wouldn't dream of it. Alright, and just so I don't forget, she's gonna need the sheathed chainsword and the holstered bolt pistol. And the sheathed knife. I'll publish too, as long as I don't lose this one. I lost one of these finned pauldrons the other night. Last night, actually. When I was making the sergeant. Dropped it on the floor. Still can't find it. I was thankful that I had one of these Mark 6 pauldrons that I could just slap on. I'm still pissed off about it. Told the GW guy when I planned on showing up and he looked at me like I was crazy. I then decided to show up multiple hours earlier than I told him. Had a dream I found the back piece to the Ravner I lost. If life were that simple. You lost it months ago? Gonna piss me off to no end. And then I know I'm randomly going to be cleaning up here. Like, I might have to move all my stuff out of the room or something. And it's just gonna be sitting there, haunting me. Like, where were you when you lost me 5 years ago? And I'll be like, you ran away from me. These really grenade launches? Yes, it would be. Oh, hey, Threads. Welcome back. I got it. I fixed everything. find it, I'm gonna scream. I'll punch a hole in my wall and scream. I have to go play paintball angry, and that's not good for other people trying to have fun. Punch a hole through reality. Punch a hole into my office. I ended up having to tank my bitrate threads just to make things function. For no apparent reason, except I think it has something to do with the NVIDIA driver that I just updated. I'm not entirely sure. I almost started working on some orcs tonight. Because I have more boys who need to be painted, and I have an unopened box of Storm Boys over there. And then I probably would have ended up working on some Terminus Knights, or my Imperial Fists. But then I looked over and I saw my Winged Prime and my Psychophage. I was like, you know, I just put a lot of effort in these guys. I may or may not have just bought the Warriors kit. But I digress. Little update screwing up everything. I'd be proud of you. The last player on the enemy team was a 10-year-old, and instead of point blanking him in the back, I just poked him and yelled surrender. Yeah, in Airsoft, we had a bang bang rule at a lot of fields that we went to. So if you're... It was kind of do at your own discretion, but if you shot them point blank, then you were an asshole. It just really depended on the field. But yeah, if you were within like 15, 20 feet of someone, then you had to call out bang bang. And they have the option to choose whether or not to take the hit, because they can react. Nine times out of 10 they would. Otherwise, they would get shot point blank with a 6mm BB. Started painting an Auric art boy. No bang bang, paint must break. Children must cry. Dads must try to fight me in the parking lot after losing multiple one-on-one. I've never personally seen that happen, but I've heard horror stories. Plenty of YouTube videos. Oh my god. Airsoft fights are crazy. Because it's a bunch of ex-vets who just thirst for combat. This is the way. and you feel the grenade land at your feet. Yep. I haven't been in one of those situations, but one of my favorite stories to tell was I was with like 3 other guys. We were breaching a building, and I happened to have a dummy grenade in my pocket and an old spring pistol. Now, if you know anything about airsoft, a spring pistol is one of the weakest airsoft weapons you can possibly have. And the 3 of us stacked up against this door. We could not get in for anything because they were all posted up behind the door, and they'd shoot at us as soon as we tried to open it. And so I had this dummy grenade, and I pulled it out of my pouch and I showed it to the other guys. I was like, hey, got this. So they're like, cool. They tossed it inside. We cleared that whole building with a couple of ARs and my spring pistol. And it was like 15 guys through the whole building. And we dominated. I love scenario games. That's one of the really cool things about airsoft is pretty much every game is a scenario. Because you're basically playing like it's a milsim for every game. Or you get like me and you just weren't afraid to round corners. We used to play with real BB guns and pellet guns. That's dangerous. Denver has a field with a Connex castle. Most fun I've ever had clearing buildings. Woods ball is the way to play. I just play speedball way more now. I have been paintballing one time in my entire life. And it was for a friend's birthday party. And we did it. And they were like, you know, airsoft is a lot more fun. It was more of the realism aspect that we liked. But we also spent a lot of time as kids running through the woods and shooting Nerf guns. We thought we were awesome operators. And nobody could stop us. Make that work. For me, I just like paint the way it's harder to cheat. I'll make you wear it if I catch you wiping. Valid. There were a lot of times where I came home with welts from airsoft, though, because I got to the point later on in my career that I really didn't care about the pain anymore. So we just kind of sucked it up and took it. So I didn't layer up as much as some guys. Homebrew or normal chapter on these? These are homebrew. So they'll be going in my Reliquary Brotherhood, who are my Dark Angel successor. Sorry, the light kind of oversaturates them a little bit. That might help. Multiple wells right now. Paint was a dog turn last week. FPS was jumping from 250, 367, 310, and 300 is the limit. I don't doubt it. Well, it's from running nerds down. I got my share of welts and blood and things like that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the average gun that we used, it would run about 350, 400 tops. The one I had was 400. I loved that gun. Show me a picture. Yes. Round 2. Swapping out knives. Woke up in the middle of the night and thought I was having a heart attack. It was my body reacting to the bruising. Oh, damn. That is a lot of pain. It didn't count. I was in the horse. I had so much pain. I would just get angry when they hit me, so I'd run them down while they laid into me. See if we can get. Much better. Here. That was a dad tries to fight me in the parking lot day. I was also at 2 gas station hot dogs and physical altercation with my boss day. Like everyone has. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has those. Come on. Blue is hold it. Right here so it doesn't fall over on me. Everyone can have one of those days every once in a while as a snack, you know? Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Save this. Never know, tomorrow might be yours. Just pick good hot dogs. Perfect. His ass. I like my boss though. That would kind of pose a problem. My boss is pretty cool. Today at this time, I should have a red terror. I expect multiple updates in Discord. Yeah, it's a little funky. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put him on a base, so I don't have to worry about him freestanding. And nothing working. I've spoken to. Let's try that again. Change nothing. I'm going to have plenty of photos of me sitting outside the Warhammer store. That's silly o'clock. Someone is there at 6. I'll cry. I'm committing a felony for legal reasons. That's a joke. Yes, for legal reasons. Let's go to the detail. I was hoping to avoid. That always leaves a mess. Action poses are kind of a problem. His weight isn't very well distributed, but he's throwing a grenade, so he has an excuse. Ah. Hi, Mark. Wanting to try the hobby out? Seems fun. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Hobby is phenomenal. Are you talking Warhammer specifically, or are you thinking just modeling and painting and those things? Because it is very vast. For me, it's Warhammer. It's always Warhammer. What do you think about that freehand camo and that freehand writing? Shoulder looks like Nerd. Which are you talking about? Warhammer? Very nice. Is there a faction that's caught your eye? Or any lore that you're interested in? I'm kind of a lore nut. So that's what really drew me into the hobby. The fact that you could take from the original lore and kind of create something that's your own. That is my bread and butter. Every army that I have, totally my own. Completely homebrewed. Oh, your tank. Your tank. Okay. I gotta look at it again. I looked at it when you posted it. The freehand is way better than mine. The sponging that you did made it look awesome, because your shadows are already set. The lore has me hooked now for the last few months. Then you should be good, my friend. What faction is most interesting to you? Because for me, it's Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines. That's where I'm at. But I've also branched out to Orcs and Imperial Guard, and most recently, thanks to Warden here, Tyranids. Just gonna leave him alone and not touch him. Let that set. Let's see. Left shoulder looks like contour. Gotta look at the left shoulder. Oh, that is camo. I should have watched your stream. I saw you went live and I had a second. No, I like the camo. I think it looks good. The freehand is really catching my eye though. Most recent short should help you remember. I'll have to go look. This is the commission piece you're doing, right? Space Marines and Orcs. Commission the latest short as a meme. Possibly elves? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to draw the line there. I can't help you with that. I am a well-known elf hater amongst my community. I am not an elf fan in the least, but orcs are cool. Space Marines are awesome. Is there a particular Space Marine chapter that has caught your interest? Alright, so the next one is going to be knife pistol. Ooh, should I do the reloading pistol? No, I'll just do the knife. I'll do the reloading pistol on a different one. Black Templars are cool. Iron Fists. Any Chaos. Black Templars are cool. Maladus, he's not here. He's a Black Templars guy. And if you ever need any help with the lore or the hobby, if you want to, you can jump in my Discord, because we have a lot of lore and hobby people in there. And I know all of them would be more than willing to help you out and give you advice and things of that nature, help you get started on the hobby. I don't really like that one. That one's for the sergeant. This one. Salamander Rock. You sub? Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, just jump in the Discord and whatever questions or advice that needs to be asked or given, I have plenty of places for that. Zenobia? That's a reference that's lost on me. Should I be aware of that? Right, he's got his knife out, so he needs the empty knife sheath right here. Second guessing. Have I heard her yet? No. Is this an artist that I'm not aware of? Good book to get into Space Marine lore? Oh my goodness, there's a lot. Let's see. Well, if you're wanting to get in Black Templars, probably Hell's Reach would be a good one. Space Marines in general, that's tough. I mean, you could start in the Horse Heresy. It's a safe bet to start in the Horse Heresy. You could always start with Horse Rising, which is the very first book. You've seen. I didn't really start on one particular book. I started with lore podcasts, and that kind of gave me a very, very broad, abridged scope of the Warhammer universe. I just liked it from there. And then I started getting into the lore YouTube videos and things like that. And then I started getting into the book, excuse me. As far as just now starting out, I think Horse Heresy probably would be one of the better places. And you don't have to read all the books. You can read the first 3 and get a good idea of why the galaxy is the way it is. The Black Templar books stand alone from the whole main plot. So, funny you mentioned that. With Warhammer, the overarching plot isn't some one specific thing. It's a lot of different things that lead to one conclusion. Not even really a conclusion. That's a poor way to word that. So like the story is continuously ongoing, but there's hundreds of different stories going on, thousands actually. Because when you think of the scope of the galaxy, there are millions of worlds in the Imperium, and each one of those worlds has its own story. The films people have put together on YouTube are really good for short bursts of lore. This is true. There are some good animations out there. My buddy Raincloud and I actually reacted to the Hell's Reach short film. Oh, it's not a short film. It's an abridged version of the Hell's Reach book. Very abridged. And you can find that video on my channel if you want to go watch it. It's very good, very well done. It's actually done by a lot of the voice actors who do the Black Library audiobooks. Very well produced, well acted, all around just a great book, or a great film. But like I said, it's the abridged version. But for me, I've been into the lore for about 2.5, 3 years now. And I am the kind of person who consumes it every single day in some fashion, whether it's books, whether it's videos, even if it's just like a 10-minute blurb, I'm absorbing something. So I am very well aware of a lot of Warhammer lore. Am I an expert? Not at all. Not even a little bit. But the only way that I know as much as I do is just because I absorb it a lot. Sent me a link. Off stream, no copyright. Okay, I'll check it out. Very well done, lore, I must admit. You are correct. Some people will argue that it's not well done and full of retcons and full of not well put together storytelling, which is true in some cases, but overall It's very, very motivating. And like I said earlier, the reason I like it so much is the ability to be able to create your own thing within the universe. I myself am a very creative person, so the fact that I could create my own Space Marine chapter, or Chaos Warband, or Orc Warband, like that was very intriguing to me. And that's really what drew me in, and that's what got me to invest myself into the lore as much as I have, because I want to be faithful to the lore in any homebrewing and writing that I do, as much as I possibly can, while also making something unique to me. So I have currently 1, 2, 3, 3 Loyalist Space Marine chapters that I have models for, and I have 5 that I've actually written up some. And then Chaos, I have 1, 2, 3 Chaos Warbands that I have models for. And then I think I have 5. Yeah, 5 that I've written up. So it's very interactive. And then my orcs are totally homebrew. My Imperial Guard, totally homebrew. My Tyranids, totally homebrew. And since we're on the topic of Black Templars, they are actually a very easy faction to homebrew, because there are potentially thousands of Black Templar crusades going on throughout the galaxy, and no one really knows exactly how many there are. So if you made your own Black Templar crusade, then you could just do that and it would work. I didn't hold it. Oh, pistol holster. That. I like that font. You have any of the big guys like Titans? They seem most impractical in most tabletop games. I don't have any Titans. The biggest models that I have a Great Unclean one, I have a couple Dreadnoughts, and I have Vashtor. And they are not nearly Titan size. That is for sure. So much fun to build and paint. They would be. I'd like a knight or two. They're the closest thing you can get to Titan status without actually making Titans. But I don't have any. Well, this one would actually work really well. Maybe. Someday, I'm going to organize all of my leftover bits and take them off the sprue and put them in individual drawers. Made another name for tomorrow. Need to be known that I'm showing up this early to the store because if I die, you get the Red Terror before me. You right. I'll be all over that. And then I will fully build and paint it and set it on your headstone. With a sticky note on it that said, me first. You know, now that I'm looking at it, this probably would have been better on the running one. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna make it work. It's all gonna be fine. Everything's fine. Everything's on fire, but it's fine. I'll come back via pure rage wave and strike you down. Barrel. Don't tell the internet that I didn't drill the barrel. That was one of the first things that I got bullied for. Because I posted some on a Facebook group. I didn't drill the barrels. The entire comment section. Just drill the barrel, asshole. Like, fine. And then I started doing it. I was like, why didn't I do this? Gonna crash, catch y'all later. Definitely hit you up about some Marines when I get going. Yeah, no problem. Like I said, feel free to join the Discord. Links either in the description or on my channel. Appreciate you. Martin would be impressed. Get back to the car and see the red terror in pieces on the hood. You'll know what happens next. That would be the ultimate supernatural episode.
You better wait here. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Even 10 minutes is a long time to be away from you.
Guy gets haunted because of newly released Warhammer model. Speaking of new released Warhammer models, I'm really hoping that I can get the Defiler. Because if I don't, then I might end up being as upset as you. And it's not going to be good. Because I really want it. I see all these people who pre-ordered it. I'm like, you suck. Because I want it for the Fervent Storm. Finish the commission because it's next. It's great. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Lord of Skulls via resin? Is Gino getting that for you? Lord of Skulls with a World Eater's army is like chef's kiss. Dude, I think the Assault Intercessors are better kitted out than regular Intercessors. Because it just, they look like they have so much more stuff. It's also the way I'm assembling them, but... Why didn't I cut out a head? Twitch died. Where are the files Gino's supposed to print? That's sick. But I stated before that a Lord of Skulls with a World Eater's army is chef's kiss. Super nice guy I follow on TikTok is gonna run too. Wow. That's crazy. All right, two more. I can't do the mag unload because I don't have any more sheathed pain swords. We're gonna have to save that one. Did I miss you? Yes. Warden and I both did. Right, Warden? Help me out here, bro. You don't know that. Right, Warden? Your silence isn't helping. Which is struggling. Is it just my stream or is it Twitch in general? Because I'm showing it's fine. To YouTube. This is why we stream on both. Still can't figure out the chat delay situation on YouTube. Still quite prevalent. Real streak has finally started. Gonna be funny, but then I did a spelling error and I'm angry now. My wife bought me new Adidas and now I can win against the Make-A-Wish kid for sure. First to the slaughter, victory brings immortality. We're gonna hold you to that. If you don't show up in the Discord as immortal, I'm gonna be very upset. I will make an immortal tag on Discord. Victory brings the Red Terror box. See, and it's moments like these, I wish I had a Warhammer store near me just to get the Red Terror to fight you. And the question is, back to our previous discussion, is the Red Terror always red? Is that part of the genetic coding? Thanks to denial, I am immortal. That's how that works? So this was supposed to be in a running position, but he's gonna cock it to the side a little bit. He's a gangster. The Red Terror seems to be a proto-Ravener, something the Hive Mind was crafting before it decided on the Raveners in Trigon. So it was a prototype. Hey, Mal. You would be proud of me. I recruited someone to Black Templars earlier. Maybe. Potentially. I hyped up the Black Templars for your sake. Imperium names bioforms. The Hive Mind demands efficiency. It cares not for names. Back from a long day of work and old worlding? Well, I don't envy any. Well, old world, maybe. That's why reason for model change incoming is varied in size, reported something slightly bigger than a Ravener because it's slightly smaller than a Trigon. That's why its iteration is perfect. Valid. That is a point that I will accept. Not that I have any other choice. I'm definitely not under threat of Warden coming to my house if I besmirch the Red Terror. Loki triggered my AK shorts bombing. Yeah, that sucks. I thought they were great. I like Tyranids because they're forced evolution, forced through trial and error. Countless points of biomass. Metal AF. What are you working on? Assault Ints? Yes. I'm working my way through the Reliquary Brotherhood assaults. In the box thing for you tomorrow. But that sucks about the AK shorts. Do you think it's like a timing thing or what? My short that I posted this morning, within 2 hours, it had over 1K. And then it just stopped out of the blue. For absolutely no apparent reason. Looking forward to the light box since I need to get my shorts on your level. YouTube hates us after 1K? Yeah, I don't know what it is. I have one short out of all of the shorts that I've ever uploaded that has over 2K. And then all the others, they get up to a certain point and then they just quit. Like there's no possibility of virality. I don't make tutorial shorts. That might be a little different. But I don't really have an interest in making tutorial shorts. I just like sharing the stuff that I do. Usual shorts get 1K, but the AK ones actually put effort into only get 100. That's crazy. My most recent did 1.3 in an hour and then it dies. I have a few that have eventually gotten to 2K now. And I've noticed your best luck is to wait a day or two after your most recent upload, whether it be a live stream or a short, and then upload it. And then it could have the potential to get over 1K. But that potential isn't always guaranteed. It really just makes no sense. Oh hey, I didn't put pauldrons on him. I thought he was looking a little scrawny. Fix that. And occasionally I might gain a sub from a short. Occasionally. Very rare. But I'll get like 30 plus likes on average. Sometimes it's down to 20. Don't trust numbers till 24 hours after because it drops down hundreds of views. Just checked again and it dropped to 1.2. YouTube is weird. Yeah, I don't get it. What counts as a true view? Because I get that all the time too. Not at first. Is it just because of the hobby niche? Because I see other hobbyists who get like 20K. So many likes, especially recently. My Redemptor Dread has almost 100. TikTok is pretty solid for growth. Like, what are they doing? Is it the I really don't know. Yeah, I've gained a ton of traction on TikTok, but you can't advertise any of your other platforms that are ones that you use more often on TikTok. So you hit like 1,000 followers or something. I don't get it. I'm gonna try for a third AK wash short next week, see if it's not spacing them out as far as help. This is also the first month since starting, probably not hitting my sub goal even with the black tutorial. Yeah, my sub goals were all over the place. Alright, we got one more. Any big projects in the works or just streams and shorts? No big projects, just doing the same old, same old. I don't really have the time on my plate at the moment. For some reason, work this year has just been astronomical. And it doesn't make any sense because I'm not really doing any more work than I have in the past. But it's been killing me. Longer days, I don't understand. That's the reason my stream schedule has been so out of whack, because I get home at like 6 and I'm just dead. Because I just pulled a 10+ hour day, and that's 5 days a week. Well, I'm hoping to be able to take this weekend to breathe a little bit. Maybe that'll revitalize me for next week's stream. Getting old. I do feel like I'm getting old. But last year when I started, I was streaming relatively consistently. And I did have projects. A lot of my sub count can be attributed to the Hell's Reach reaction. But no, I don't really have anything else big like that. Like even hobby stuff. I don't really have an interest in doing hobby tutorial content. I just like being able to share what I'm doing. And if someone wants to join along the way, like joining the Discord, learning lore and learning the hobby, then by all means, I'll do what I can. Working outside like that, working construction, I would sleep 11 hours in the summer since the heat really gets to me. Post daily on 1 minute at a time, just hit 212. Catching up, hit 202 on TikTok after 10 days on the platform. Just trying to get better at videos and power up for my eventual ascent. Yeah, I totally could post daily if I did one model at a time. Like these guys, I could post them once I get the bases finished. But my thing is, I don't like to post unfinished units, like partial units, like the 4 Permagods that I did the other day. It was like pulling teeth to get me to upload that because there were only 4 and I have 20. But my output is so slow because of my schedule that I can't really get units done in an appropriate amount of time. And I never do 1 unit at a time because my ADHD doesn't allow that. I burn myself out at one thing, so that's why I switch so much. Imagine not having hundreds of models in backlog you can put on a turntable. I do have plenty, not hundreds, but plenty. Actually, I might have. I haven't actually counted the number I own that are assembled. Knife and holster. It's my real secret. I'm unemployed because of pancreas stuff. See, and I am very much employed, and it occupies my entire existence. $106 minis painted. I have a backlog of stuff to refilm in the light box, so I'm good for a while. That's insane. You have so much over such a more short amount of time. Because how long have you been in the hobby? 3, 4 months? Also, back on the topic of daily uploads, uh, from my experience, YouTube does not like that. If you upload a short, then you upload another short, one day after the other, YouTube will throttle it for me. Folks just bought a house and are offering me a place if I help them with renovation. Nice situation, but it's going to cut in my hobby vid time. December 20th, 25. Okay, so you've got a few months under your belt. That's a pretty sweet housing situation, Mal. It's kind of where I'm at. We live in a family home that's been in my family for 3, 4 generations now. And as long as I take care of it, I'm allowed to live here. Don't ever cave to BlackRock. I don't plan on. Yeah, I'm fortunate in our family's living situation. We don't have any rent, no mortgage. We just pay utilities. But even those still bleed us dry most of the time. Yeah, YouTube seems to like 3 videos a week. Yeah, that would make more sense. But that's including live streams. Because if I were to stream tonight and then upload a short in the morning, it would hate it. It would throttle it to no end. And I think the reasoning for that, and I don't know if this is just my opinion or things that I've heard on the internet, the amount of crackdown on AI slop has really hindered that a lot. Because there's channels who are actually uploading AI stuff constantly and then reaping ad revenue for stuff that they didn't put any effort into. So I think that's really the reason that it's hard to do stuff like that. Chocolate milk. Thinking past Blue Ribbon I bought on sale last week. Boy, I could go for some of that right now. I have 2 shots of Jack Daniels, and that's really all the alcohol I have at the moment. The only thing that stops the rage. Ran out of chocolate milk. That is an unfortunate situation. Meeting up with Chino next week. That'll be fun. You giving you a bunch of cool stuff. To go to my little brother's graduation next week. I think I'm going camping next week. Okay. All 5 fully assembled. I'll probably add the bits and baubles on them by myself. Throw some purity seals on them and things. And base them, but I'll probably do all that off stream because it's getting late. I am a sleepy baby. This dude's stance is slightly menacing. I'm here for it. Concert push fit. God, I hate push fit. That is a hill I will die on. Push fit models suck. They are terrible. And they need to be abolished. 100% of the time, I cut off the push fit parts. Like for this dude, he was push fit. Probably came out of the Leviathan box. I cut them all off. To my detriment, this wing right here, I couldn't get it to fit quite right, so it's kind of wonky. But it's okay. It all came out fine. But I'm gonna make it work. I have to figure out how I want to do the wing membrane, because you can give me a gaunt kit. EW pay for this. So the teeth and the claws, they're all the red, orange, and then the actual flesh and stuff is blue. So I'm not sure if I should make the membrane a lighter blue or maybe a darker blue. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm lost. Probably gonna do some blending with the dry brush on this horn here to make it go from green to the red orange. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure. Druchii Violet, Carroburg Crimson, Isla Flesh, Blue, Dracoff Nightshade. You're speaking Citadel colors that I am unfamiliar with. I have Vallejo. I think what I'm going to do, so whenever I do the blues, I undercoat them in dark Prussian blue, and then I dry brush the sky blue. But I think on the membranes, I'll dry brush magic blue instead, and it'll make it just a little bit darker of a sheen. Maybe. Or I go with the red orange. I don't know. Get right. Interest you in an AK Interactive 3rd generation washes? You could. I have them on my list as we speak. I don't know. I'm in flux how I want to paint that. Because the Psychophage is going to be easy. Just paint fleshy bits inside the mouth. And then do everything like I did the gaunts. And then the psychic. Are they spores or are they smoke? I think they're spores. They're going to be the same yellow that I use. But I can't nail down what I want to do with the membrane. YouTube.com. That is a great showcase of these products. Nice, shameless plug. Psyker melting goop. Probably stick with the yellow then. I may do some dry brushing for effects. Maybe some straight black. That would look nice. From yellow to black. But yeah, I'm stuck on this membrane. Because I know for like Leviathan, it's just darker. Darker than the flesh. My flesh is pretty dark already. How does Behemoth do? I keep wanting to say Behemoth. as my inner Brit intensifies. 5 feet. Oh, they go lighter. No, that one goes darker. I feel like it should be. What if instead of the Prussian blue that I do for everything else, what if I undercoated it with the magic blue and then dry brushed everything with the sky blue? That might work. Make it look brighter. Great shame and self-hate. Thank you. Did mine blending from flesh tone to black? See, that could work. I don't know. I'm gonna be in flux until I do it, and then when I do it, I'm either gonna like it or I'm gonna hate it. But they are on the tray, ready to be primed, along with the Judiciar and the Blade Guard Ancient. I need to finish. I told Warden earlier it's his fault that I'm on the Tyranid kick. Because now I'm painting nothing but Reliquary Brotherhood and Tyranids because that's conflict that I've got. Ain't the bug. He'll probably be next on the block as soon as I get him primed. Because if anything, I really want to get him done. So, but I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Thanks for enduring through the technical difficulties. Malidus, you missed it. I had to start the stream over again 4 times? 5 times. Because of hardware issues that I am blaming on NVIDIA. So, post an example on the Faceboard. Wait, I will. That right now, actually. Oh, I see. That looks good. Yeah, the blending. I like that. Screw those guys. Yep, we'll see you guys. Hopefully next Tuesday. And I will be revitalized after my weekend. Everybody have a good holiday. Yep. See you, everybody.